There's something in the air.
Okay, so somebody has questions. Yeah, we're doing a live Q&A of There's Something in the Air because Monica and Michelle are in Columbus preparing to go see My Favorite Murder, and BP is not.
BP went to see My Favorite Murder, when?
Last weekend.
Yeah, so Michelle is angrily mouthing words at me, for those of you wondering. So I feel like this is just going how it normally does. I just can't see her do it. And there's no Opal. Maybe one of the other people here can come up and just throw the phone on the ground. I mean,
I was hoping maybe like Heidi would make an appearance to play Opal in this episode.
I mean, we could get her to pop over. We could. Heidi and our friends Angie and Belinda, faithful listeners may recognize them as, quote, our friends who don't listen to our podcast.
Heidi does.
No, I said Heidi, Angie and Belinda, and then that's where the parenthetical started. I see grammar in my head like you see video games. Okay?
Funny story, every single time I get into Heidi's car, she's playing our last podcast, and like I'll sit down and my voice comes up, and I'm like, who the fuck? Me.
It happened to us as well, because Heidi drove Chris and me to lunch yesterday, and we got in, and Michelle's swearing about something. I was like, well, that's weird.
I mean, it's on brand.
It is on brand.
So we're doing a Q&A.
Yes, we are doing a Q&A. We're going to answer some of the questions that Michelle and I didn't get to, either because we ran out of time or by choice because we didn't want to answer them without BP. A lot of them involve the honey, and I'm like, are you sure I need to be here for this? But see, BP agrees with me. But Michelle insisted. So I have my computer, and I doubt that my microphone is good enough on my iPhone to pick up my typing, so I can just amuse myself while you guys hunt these spiral. Maybe I'll ask the question.
Well, you're the one with the laptop that has the question.
Yeah, I mean, nobody else even has them, so that seems like...
I could, like, crawl over your shoulder to read them, but I don't think you'd appreciate that.
I wouldn't.
Nope.
Wouldn't like that at all. There was a question about the Spice Girls, but I think we're going to do that, like, submit that and have listener answers for that one.
Unless BP, you're a Spice Girls expert.
I am not. I went as Sporty Spice for Halloween when I was like 17, but that's the extent of my knowledge.
We would love to see a picture of that. I think I speak for all of our listeners. So maybe tweet that out, or maybe, I was thinking, well, we can talk about that later.
The Spice Girls will actually be a good topic to bring up for like a Q&A with our listeners, because apparently their Spice Girls are reuniting.
They are, and there's an Erper live tweet of Spice World tonight.
This isn't going to go up tonight.
I'm just saying people are interested.
Oh.
Fuck you, I know it's not going up tonight. Anyway.
I'm going to put it up tonight just to spite you fuckers.
So I'm going to ask these questions that I have no intention of answering. Are you guys ready? Do you know that I think all of them are from Amanda? I think so too. Thank you very much, Amanda, who is at Mad Hatter, where one of the A's is a 4, who asked all of these questions that I wasn't able to answer. If the Hundy, person of interest, and Wynonna Earp were in a battle, who would win and why?
I answered this last time, and my answer still stands: person of interest.
What was your why?
There wasn't one.
Okay.
Because Monica didn't have an argument against any of them.
Well, I said, do you mean like of a show to watch, or of like if they were real people, of like characters who would win? And Michelle was like, doesn't fucking matter. That's still my answer.
Yeah, I gotta say I don't completely understand the question. But
there's no context. It's just
answer what your heart tells you, BP.
My heart tells me that somehow, some way, Root and Clark Griffin would team up and nobody else has a chance.
Oh my god, best answer yet. It would be kind of like Bad Coat Root-ish, where she wasn't as dedicated to like Team Machine, and she's like, hey, that Clark Griffin girl's pretty awesome. Go kill everybody.
You know, levers, genocide, whatever.
Levers and code and
Good Earth.
Good Earth.
Okay, next question. Which character from Person of Interest do you relate to most and why? Michelle's answer is Root. Michelle is Root.
I have a very long answer for why, so BP, why don't you go?
You go and I'm going to think about it.
I read this, like, I haven't, so I watched Person of Interest, like, a year ago. I finished it right before Klexicon last year. So it's not as fresh in my mind as it is in theirs. But the first answer that springs to mind, I don't want to say, because I hate this person as a character, but I really think that it's probably accurate. Yes, Michelle? Yes, Michelle.
The
Is it
answer is
Harold with
Harold.
stupid
It's Harold.
glasses.
But your glasses aren't stupid.
It's not because my glasses are amazing that I never wear. Nobody ever sees me in them. I don't want that to be my answer.
Okay, here's the thing. Harold is horrible for, like, the reasons I ranted about last time. Like I understand everything that he did up to the end where he refused to change. It was like the end of the world or letting the machine free. And when he decided, like, maybe the world ending isn't that big of a deal, that's where I lost respect for him. He's not like he's horrible at the end, but up until then he was a little bit annoying, but, like, I understood him. He made sense.
And Michelle just described how she feels about
Wow.
me. I'm a little bit annoying, but she understands me.
Damn, spot on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. So we've been having a great time together this weekend, in case you can't tell. I really think it is Harold, unfortunately. I'm like the weasel who does all the shit behind the scenes. That kind of feels like me.
So I definitely relate to Root the most, as that should surprise no one at this point. And, like, the reason is, like, she's an awesome character, but, like, her character progression through the show is kind of like my development that I've had over the past few years. Like, I used to be, like, I'm still a cynical ass. Like, a really cynical ass who, like, didn't care about, like, anything at all because I was just like, people are stupid and fucked up and, like, what's the point? And so I was, like, bad code Root. In high school, I didn't give a shit about anything. But then as I met more people that, like, kind of were on my level and, like, understood and felt the same way about things, I kind of learned to not, like, to understand that people are flawed, but they're not bad and they are worth caring about. So, like, Root's character arc has kind of been, like, my development over, like, the past, like, 5 to 10 years. So I, like, really relate to her. So, like, when she was, like, season 1, season 2 Root, I was like, oh, yeah, been there. I get that. And then by the end of it, where she was, like, ride or die with, like, Team Machine, I was like, I also get that. So, like, I just, like, Root and I, we are the same, except not really.
Okay, so I just want to answer a different person, even though I could go on about Root all day, but I have different reasons, but I'm going to give you that. So I'm going to branch out and say Carter, because...
Oh, we'll miss you.
What?
I said, we'll miss you, because Carter had to die.
Oh, well, yeah, just wait. I think that she has kind of, like, a hopefulness and yet a cynicism in, like, okay, I try so hard and, like, what difference does any of it make? And there's also this kind of sense of feeling on the outside, but yet she'll never stop, like, trying to follow a trail of, like, logic or, you know, an idea that, like, something's going on and she's going to figure it out. However, there's also a side that's, like, this full-on addiction where when you get too obsessive over something, like, it can literally consume you. So I'm going, for those reasons, I'm going to say Carter today.
Legit.
Except for, like, the being dead part. Not so much. I don't relate to that.
Those are both really good answers.
Or the kissing John part, because that just, like, made no sense in the context of...
Okay, I have to say that both of your answers kind of affected me quite a bit, and it's embarrassing because I'm not by myself, and Michelle is seeing this, but you said that, VP, and Michelle and I both, like, that was great. That was the humor that I needed. Okay, what is one storyline you want to happen on the Hyundai/Person of Interest /Winona Earp that hasn't happened?
I mean, Person of Interest is over.
Yeah.
So?
Skip.
Storyline that I want to happen?
I think the storyline on Person of Interest that you wanted to happen is happening. It's called The Gifted.
I mean,
like
Root's alive and she's, like, undercover and Shaw and Team Machine are giving her instructions. Like that time that she stopped acting like Caitlyn and she, like, grabbed a syringe and she, like, took out a bunch of people like Root would have. I was like, hell yeah, that's Root. But I mean, there was, like, I actually would have liked it if, like, Shaw answered the phone and it was the machine in Root's voice and, like, gave her a number and it was, like, a breadcrumb trail and, like, at the end of it, Root was just like, hey, sweetie, and she was just like, what the fuck, Root?
Yeah, we've talked about this. The end game is in the park, like, eventually. She's
Like
just
that,
gonna
the
walk up
merry-go-round
behind
thing. She's just sitting there eating an apple on the merry-go-round, and Shaw shows up.
her. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, next show.
For Winona Earp, I would like to see Emily Andress as a Revenant. That's the storyline I want. I want that she's like this fucking cunt bitch who like just killed a bunch of people, and Wyatt had to put her down, and she just comes on the show, and she's this badass, awful person, and you love her, but Winona has to kill her, and it's just amazing, and it's just this crazy, like, amazing episode. That's what I want to see.
I want Dark Waverly.
I want Dark Waverly too. Emily Andress has to have a cameo on the show, and it has to be hilarious. If she's a Revenant, that's so much better. But Dark Waverly, like Dark Willow.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want, and like, if Emily Andress is gonna do this, I kind of just want her to be like in every episode in a random place, like Stan Lee does in every Marvel movie.
I want Emily Andress in a scooter, careening around a corner and almost taking out Jeremy. That's what I want to see.
She shows up on a scooter, and it's just a fucking terror in purgatory. Like Nicole's out on a megaphone. Everybody stay inside. We have not apprehended the crazy woman on the scooter.
So then, of course, she needs to be like going down the sidewalk and everyone's chasing her, but they can't catch her.
She's flipping them off, Winona style, as she goes down the sidewalk. She has snow tires on her scooter. Just Canada.
I mean, I think we covered this.
I think the last show is The Hundy.
I just want Clark to have to pull, like, levers all the goddamn time.
Just sitting in a control room, like, randomly.
It's like she booby traps the entire world, and she like sees like the people off of that ship, because of course she's now the grounder.
Right.
And she's just in that control room like it's like a video game. Like she's like, ha, go around this, and she's just pulling levers, like the ground's dropping out, like fire's popping out.
Oh my gosh. I have so many things that I would love to see on the Hundy, but I don't have hope for any of those things happening. So I'm gonna go with like something super small and just like I'm on the train for Give Clark a Friend 2018. Like can she just have a fucking friend who's like not a romantic interest, who's not even like, that's not even potential, just somebody she can talk to that's not somehow wrapped up in all the ship stuff. Like, what happened to Clark and Raven? Maybe Clark and Octavia can be friends this year because they have a totally different understanding of each other. Like, I'll pick some people for you. Maybe we can get someone off the ship. I don't even care. Give that girl a friend.
I feel like the closest they've gotten is Nyla, and it was kind of romantic, but it wasn't in like a relationship way. It was like a friendship that stemmed out of something that was like sexual in nature.
I just think that they didn't show it very well, though.
No,
I think
not.
that, you know, especially like the break from season 3 to season 4 for me is like so confusing about that relationship, because the last time they saw each other in season 3 was when everybody came in and like wrecked her trading posts. And Clark was being like as cold as she could be and pretended like they basically didn't even know each other. That was the last interaction. And then in 405, they're like, "What's up, buddy? Who's smiling? Hugs." Like, it was just so, I don't know. It was jarring for me.
It didn't make any sense, but I think it was the show's attempt at having her have a friend that wasn't involved in the shit.
Yeah,
but it didn't quite work.
No.
But I can see where they were going with it. And if they, well, she's in the bunker, so.
Yeah. I mean, I like that she had her, and they actually made some interesting comments at Unity Days that make me think that at least in some way that interaction is going to start back up. Like, not necessarily, you know, the romantic part of it or whatever, but I kind of was surprised that they would really even have much interaction after like the million characters and the 17 different directions we're going in. But that will be interesting to see. I just really want her to have somebody almost even separate from all the drama going on that she can just like talk to.
Well, I feel like she may have developed that on the ground with like she's like Maddie, but that's kind of like a mother-daughter-esque relationship.
Right.
But I mean, there are other people that were on the ground, presumably. I find it hard to believe that it was just them two.
But it may only be just the two of them in that area.
Right. But I choose to believe that she kind of adopted Maddie But I'd like to believe that she has some sort of relationship with other survivors, if there are any. Because it was just them. It was either like kill each other or get along.
Right. Okay. I mean, I'll go on about that. So that's it, though. I have a ton of stuff I'd like to see, but shooting low, I'd like to just give Clark a friend.
I think aiming low is good on that show. I love the show, but I would recommend aiming low.
Okay, BP, Michelle answered this last week. If there's one character you don't like on Person of Interest, who is it and why? It makes me a little bit sad that it's the one, everyone agreed that I'm the most like on the show, but it's fine. I'm fine.
I'll go a little bit different route, though, and say, like, for a good portion of the show, I don't like Reese. I think that I understand his background. I kind of get where his trauma is coming from, but just from the standpoint of literally watching him, it takes him such a long time, if ever, to develop any sort of personality. And it just kind of it feels repetitive to me that he's just kind of like always the battering ram or always the, you know what I mean? He just doesn't have very much character development, in my opinion.
I recently rewatched the series, and he really doesn't, like, anything, any character moments or anything, it's so small and subtle that, like, you need to be insanely obsessed with the show and, like, pick it apart episode by episode to even catch it. Like, it's not there for, like, the casual viewer, which is stupid because it makes him the most boring character.
I will say that my favorite episode with him was when he was shot and he envisioned Carter in the vehicle with him basically the entire episode and was, sharing everything with her and acting like they had that kind of relationship. And it's almost like he noticed at that point that he was as dry as we knew him to be.
I think that was his best episode, and I also think the series finale was one of his best episodes. Not because of how it ended, but because of everything else before that.
Right, yeah, I agree. And then, Harold and his stupid glasses.
Harold and his fucking glasses, and just that guy.
Is he that bitch? I mean, we're not even talking about an episode, but is he going to be that bitch?
He wins the That Bitch Award by far.
Okay, this next question.
Wait, hold on. I want to go back. Can I go back?
Yes.
I want to say something else. Something else I want to see on the 100 is a retcon of where they actually utilize Naya and Antari as villains.
You are literally, like, I have no idea what you just said syllables.
Oh, Brenda Strong?
Yeah.
Slana?
Oh, yeah. I've just become interested in what you're saying.
Yeah, Brenda Strong was on that show. Yeah, they set her up to be, like, such a villain, and then she was in, 2 episodes? Like, she was in the end scene of one episode, and then she was, like, killed in the next episode of the one following. And, like, they built her up from season, like, all of season 2, and then, like, it just went nowhere.
Yeah.
So, like, when they killed her, I was a little bit pissed.
I know that we've also talked about, not us, but other people, about having a spin-off where Anya and Lexa are ghost detectives. Just saying. It's totally realistic.
Oh my God. I just want Dyken Lachlan back on the show.
I also support her in everything ever.
I was going to say,
I keep
she
dropping
needs to be in
names
every show.
I'm like, Monica, hey, watch the show.
Not going to watch the show. We've talked about this.
I love Brenda Strong. Dyken, come on.
Right. I've recommended like 5 shows and you haven't watched any of them. I'm not going to watch them. And yeah, she's glaring. For those of you at home, glaring at me.
Is it Dyken or Deacon or something else?
I don't know.
I just wanted to throw in that I'm confused and like not necessarily jumping on board with that pronunciation.
I don't know what it is. That's kind of why I stuttered. Because I'm like, her name's complicated. But she's awesome.
Agreed. Okay, I apologize. Next question.
Okay. What is one song you associate with each show that isn't already used in the show? The answer I gave last week was Joan Jett's Bad Reputation for Winona Earp.
That isn't in the show?
Yes. Like, is there a song that makes you think of the show or the characters?
That sucks because the song...
It's not on Heaven's Door.
Yeah,
I mean...
but the rendition done by Rain, like that song,
Yeah.
Didn't it win an award?
I don't know.
I think they won an award for like best use of a song in like a TV show or something like that. Because that song is just so fucking perfect.
That is the 100 though. Like even though it was played in one scene, like I mean that's it right there.
It is.
But you know what else was interesting is my friend was like, they also used it on like an episode of iZombie, and I'm like, oh, the CW just must have like gotten unlimited rights to it. They're just sticking it wherever they can.
That's ridiculous because that song, like, it was just the perfect song to close out season 2. Like, it made me cry.
Yeah, it was great.
Monica's like, whoa, you actually cry?
Oh my gosh, if you can watch that scene without crying, like I don't even know what to do with you. Even when I hear the song now, I start crying. Like
that song is on my playlist that I listen to all the time because I love it so much. But every single time I'm just like, Clark.
I know.
I feel a little
it's
emotional,
terrible.
but it's so good.
Oh man, something that's not on the show though. I don't even think about that. It's interesting because to say that one song could be so perfect is very interesting because there's only ever like 3 songs on the show. They do their own score because it doesn't take place now, so it's not necessarily like it's like Game of Thrones in the sense of like they don't ever use, regular songs because it just doesn't fit into the narrative. But
Person of Interest rarely use like songs. Like they had like you can buy their score, like DVDs of each season's score.
right.
The few songs that they do use fit so perfectly for the instance, but I can't think of a song that overall encompasses the show as a whole. My music tastes are quite limited, so there probably is one.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Somebody let us know.
Okay, I'm going to move to the next one. What are worse plot holes or characters killed off before they get an arc?
Wait, say that again?
I think what she means is, like, are there plot holes that were never resolved and you wish they had been, or characters who had been killed off that you felt were underutilized on each of the 3 shows?
Oh, God. How long is this supposed to be?
Yeah, maybe let's save that one for a different time.
Yeah, that's its own episode.
Okay. If you could live in the same state as your favorite Earper, where would it be?
Loaded question?
Yeah, I don't want to
No.
answer that one.
I don't want to answer that because I feel like it'd become obvious. Like it'd be like, oh, yeah. It's like no, let's cut this all out. I don't like it.
I want all of the Earpers to come to me. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Somebody visit me aside from your wife.
Yeah. I'm not even.
Michelle's address is. Yeah, hard pass.
Favorite television show that isn't the 100 Person of Interest or Winona Earp.
Did we answer that?
I said Buffy and Parks and Rec.
Right now, it's The Good Place.
It's Pretty Little Liars. I did say that.
The Good Place is really good. I haven't seen the last 2 episodes, so don't spoil it. But it's like that's on right now. That might be accurate for me as well. I really, really love One Day at a Time right now. Season 2 just dropped.
Oh my God, One Day at a Time.
It is so good. I watched an episode last week, and I was like, okay, I wanted to finish them before we came here, because I knew all of that everybody else except for Chris had finished it, and I was like, well, I want to be able to talk about it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to watch 2 episodes, and then I'm going to go exercise. Well, I watched the first episode, and it really got me, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to watch this next one and go work out. And I watched the second episode, and something happened in it that affected me so much that I felt physically ill. And I told Chris, I was like, I have to write about this or I feel like I'm going to throw up, which is a great feeling.
And you can find that on the TV Junkies.
Anyway, so I sat down and wrote about it. It tackles a lot of tough issues and talks about a lot of things that other shows don't talk about, queer issues, mental health issues, health problems, and, it talks about people who are sick and
it doesn't shy away from any topics. And I'd say like right now, like at this point in time, it's probably my favorite show that's on right now. And I will be cosplaying as Elena
inadvertently
at every single convention forever.
Because Elena and Michelle are kind of twins. There are some differences. Like I would watch it and be like, oh, this is different than I think you would be. But other times I'm like, you need to check we both need to check our closets for cameras because people seem to know shit about us.
I was convinced they bugged my house.
It's really, really good, and things are getting better, but for so long it just felt like so much of the world was a polar opposite and felt the opposite of what I felt. And this show feels like it agrees with me in so many ways, and it's nice to not feel alone. And the acting is really good. It's funny. It's, yeah.
It is filmed in front of a live studio audience. Oh my gosh. It is filmed in front of a live studio audience. So there is like laugh trackiness, but it's like live. There's laughing in it, which hasn't been done since like the 90s, which is a little confusing because
it's a little off-putting at first. And the first season it felt more jarring than it does now. Second season it seemed like a smoother transition.
I think also in the first season we weren't like obsessed with the characters.
Sure, no.
Anyway, that's it. That's our answer.
Okay, I just have like a laundry list now. I just want to like toss them out. So Parks and Rec is definitely one of my favorite. And then over the past like several years, let's go like all the way back. I was obsessed with 90210 in high school. The original, obviously. I don't want anyone to think I graduated like 2 years ago.
Who was your favorite character?
Dylan. No question.
Because you love Bad Boys, of course.
I just love him, period. He was probably like one of my first crushes, besides Robin Hood from Disney's Robin Hood. He's foxy. Yeah, that took a second, didn't it? He is a literal fox.
Not a crafty fox.
No, just a literal fox. After that, let's see. Buffy, Angel, Dawson's Creek. I'm sorry. I don't think I could stand to watch that anymore, but I did love it when it was on. Buffy, Angel, already said that. House, Bones. I used to love all like the CSIs and Law and Orders, but they all just went on too long. SVU was my favorite. I did love Criminal Intent, though. I've watched The Simpsons ever since it started when I was 5. So that also has gone on too long, but like I can't stop now till it wraps up. Ooh, and one of my other like legit favorites is Bob's Burgers. When I feel really, really crappy, I'll either binge like Parks and Rec or Bob's Burgers.
Parks and Rec isn't for me, or if like I want to take a nap and I want something happy on in the background that I don't have to pay attention to. Parks and Rec is my go-to. Like it's to the point where Chris will joke with me if I turn it on. She's like, "Oh, are you tired?"
Aww.
My thing, like, the last time I said that Pretty Little Liars was one of my favorite shows. And it might be actually my favorite show. Because when I don't feel well, I put on old Pretty Little Liars podcasts and listen to them.
Oh my God.
I don't know. It was a really important show for me for a really long time. So I just have like an emotional attachment to it.
I'm listening to all of our answers about this, and it's so striking to me. Like, we all get along really well and all have so much in common in some ways, but are also so completely different. It's very fascinating to me, and it's super cool. I just wanted to say that. You can edit it out if you want to.
I'll try to turn it into something that's like degrading. I'll cut out a couple words here or there.
On brand.
All right, next question. What do you look forward to the most at conventions?
Friends.
That's what I said. That's Michelle's number 2 answer. Her first answer is Amy Acker.
Oh, Michelle's a cunt, so whatever.
Fifi, she's fallen on the floor.
Oh, I have no doubt. I don't recommend you say that to or about everyone, by the way. Just want to make that
Just FYI, Michelle, you're the only one so far in this podcast who hasn't called anyone a cunt. So maybe you have a couple minutes. Maybe try and make that happen. Like, dude, she's on the floor laughing. I mean, we were sitting, but now she's laying on the floor. Last question. We both answered this one, too, but what is your favorite hat? I'm wearing my favorite hat.
What's my favorite hat? My favorite hat is my Hyundai beanie.
That would have been my guess.
Yeah, I get really upset now when it gets hot because, I can't wear it.
Do you not get a snapback?
I do have one of those as well, and it's pretty high up there.
My number 1 is my This Simulation Sucks snapback, and then I like the Hyundai one, and then either my Juan Hater or Cream Puff one.
Yeah, so we're going to have a special Herbs Blade Pod episode where Michelle talks for 45 minutes and ranks her favorite hats. That's going to be great.
Why does she only get to do it?
You two can both do it, and I will not be there. Sounds great.
Yeah, we did buy snapbacks together.
That's true. We got Harry Potter houses.
I got Slytherin.
I can't wear a snapback. I look stupid in it.
You think you look stupid in it.
I don't particularly like them. I prefer the dad cap.
My thing is, if you want to wear a hat, if you just wear it and, like, own it, you look good in it.
I just don't particularly like them. I'm sorry. We cannot be friends anymore.
I mean, you can't not like it. It's just like if you want to wear something, wear it.
I put on a snapback at DragonCon, and I immediately turned into a 17-year-old boy. It was great.
That's a weird hat.
I know. It was a Harry Potter one, I guess.
I was gonna say, did you get a Harry Potter hat too? Because you got a different one than me.
It was yours, I think.
Well, see, you put on a Slytherin hat.
When I first did the Pottermore quiz, it sorted me into Slytherin, and I was
answered those questions incorrectly.
Absolutely. So this is funny because the only way I would say that is correct is because you must have lied on the questions. But then, I mean, ooh, that's tricky.
Yeah, so this podcast has given me a lot of feelings about the two of you and how you treat me, but that's fine. I was really surprised it sorted me into Slytherin. I thought I answered the questions honestly, and so I took it again, and it sorted me correctly.
Into
Hufflepuff.
Ravenpuff.
I think I'm probably like Slitherclaw. Is this ships? Like, do we ship houses now? Is that a thing?
I don't know what house I'd be a mix with.
Ravenclaw, definitely.
See, but the thing is, when I take like quizzes about Harry Potter, I usually get Slytherin, and then occasionally I get Gryffindor, but I never get Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw ever. So I get the two opposites.
Yeah, I just never get Hufflepuff. You know what, though? And
Hufflepuff.
this is just like a random thing that is like clearly not clinical. And oh my God, don't anybody try to act like I'm being a professional and saying this. But being bipolar, I find that I get different answers on different things depending on like where in my cycle I am.
That probably explains some. Because when I do like the Myers-Briggs test, I either get INTJ or INSJ that are really similar. INTJ
Right.
is like the supervillain one, and INSJ is like really, really similar, but like slightly less extreme.
Yeah, I get INFJ or INTJ.
So it's the S and the T.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Those are the ones I flip-flop on too.
Yeah, that's me.
Now the learning company, the more you know thing just flies across the stream.
No one is surprised.
That's true. I
That's
also get TWIN with you.
Wow, I get that too.
Yeah.
I got twins. I have doppelgangers all over the place. I'm just a very popular person to be like / look like.
Everyone loves you, Michelle. I think we were
Never
talking
mind.
about that.
Twinship redacted. Fuck this.
The doppelganger thing is literally Elena from One Day at a Time.
Also, one of the waitresses at the restaurant we went to yesterday, I looked up and I thought, did she like track us and come straight here and put on a waitress uniform? Okay, no, this doesn't make sense anymore.
I was still in the car.
Yeah, she was like, I'll be there in 9 minutes. And we were like, oh, maybe we should pay our bill and come back to Heidi's.
I'd been fine napping in the car. I'm really good at sleeping in cars.
Everyone needs talent. Is there anything else that we want to add?
Didn't we have a request for update on my favorite person?
Kirsten!
Somebody wanted to know how Kirsten was doing over at Purgatory.
I mean, business is booming.
Obviously.
Obviously, it's booming. She's been too busy to tweet many drink specials.
I know.
That's because
Oops.
she's been busy dreaming up the drink specials that the lovely patrons of the podcast who donated that tier are going to get. It takes time to come up with drink specials, you guys.
It does. It does.
She's hard at work with that.
On the next episode, we'll start doing all of our patron stuff for shout outs. Also, I will say Kirsten has been pretty excited about catching up with her sister, Sarah. Sarah Troyer, who follows Kirsten and sometimes visits. You know, she loves us. We love her.
I mean, Kirsten was so excited about her coming to town, she made her her very own drink special.
She did. It was called Take a Plane Instead.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, Kirsten.
Yeah. Snarky, that one.
Yep.
It's amazing. She's so very similar to all three of us. It's so weird.
What?
I mean, there's a reason we're friends with her. I mean, I have a permanent corner in Purgatory where I can do my Rubik's Cube.
She had a whole day of drink specials for you. She really thinks very highly of you.
I was honored, and I actually have a list of them all on my phone and look at them from time to time and laugh. So creative. I think my favorite was what was the last one called? Root.
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant. It's my favorite drink. I ask for it all the time.
Okay, so you can find us in some places.
You can find us on Twitter at ErpsplainPod.
You can find us on our website, ErpsplainPod.com, that has links to our Patreon, PayPal, has links to all of our episodes, the ERP reviews, and our store.
BP put up a new My Favorite Murder Themes t-shirt last week. If you want to check that out, it's super cool. We'll have at least one new one hopefully going up this week that I made as a joke, and then a couple people said they wanted to buy, about our lovely friend of the podcast, Stam, the mermaid dentist. And she's also working on a couple more designs that we hope to have very soon, hopefully before ClexaCon. And I'm super excited about those.
Ultimately, we just really like t-shirts, and there'll be stuff on the store that has nothing to do with this podcast.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, there's a Supergirl one I'm working with her on, so I'm stoked about it.
You can also reach us at our email, somethingintheair@gmail.com, or leave us a voicemail at
678-871-0098.
all of this contact information you can find on the contact tab at ErpsplainPod.com.
If you enjoy this podcast, you can do us a huge favor and leave us a review over on iTunes. You can leave a star rating, but if you can leave us an actual review, it would be really appreciated. It helps other people find our podcast, and we can, explain to even more people. And who doesn't need that in their life?
And we love feedback.
We do love feedback. We're all, attention whores. It's fine.
I want to clarify. We're affirmation whores. If you have anything bad to say, I don't even want to know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
If you have something bad to say, just DM me.
Just Michelle.
I don't have
Michelle
issues
loves that
with
shit.
criticism.
You can also subscribe to us on iTunes or Google Play. You can't rate us on Google Play, which is really stupid, but whatever. I'm not Google.
But you can find us on any podcast app you use.
Yeah. We are everywhere, which is pretty great.
And nowhere.
And nowhere at the same time.
Does that cover everything?
I think.
CP, anything else?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We hope you had a good time. We certainly did. We look forward to talking to you soon. And remember, it may be a shit show, but it's our shit show.